dust storm, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So I find it funny that we are so spoiled with Star Wars content now that once one show ends, we expect to see what's coming in the next one. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. It's funny, man. It's funny. Like, we're getting spoiled, right?
Oh, we're definitely spoiled.
So much Star Wars.
Yes.
That we're like, all right, well, that one ended. We should be seeing the stuff for the next one. And we're acting like we just didn't go through like a 6-month lull.
Right. Yes. That we did do. Yeah. I think we're all, waiting with great anticipation for, seeing something from Obi-Wan coming up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl really made sense, right? Like, you got the poster like right before.
I thought it was going to happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, the poster was I don't know if we would have thought that, we're going to see a trailer at the Super Bowl because, why not? But the poster, like just a couple days before, it was like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like,
Yep. Nothing.
Crickets.
Yes, crickets.
I watched that game for nothing.
That's pretty much how you feel about it, right? I mean, it's like, hey, there's got to be something good. I mean, there was even a commercial with Ewan McGregor, and I was mid-conversation with somebody. I was like, well, oh, no, this is Expedia or something. Okay,
yeah.
Never mind.
It's like, shit, I saw Obi-Wan.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and I thought, this was a no-brainer because Lord of the Rings, right?
Right. Yes.
They're not going to want them to just have the spotlight, like.
Yeah, and not to mention, they've utilized the Super Bowl before, so I don't know.
Which I must mention, like, so I'm a Lord of the Rings fan.
Sure.
I'm not a hardcore. Like, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. There's hobbits and stuff.
Yeah. I enjoy it. Right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
It's enjoyable. I've read the books. I've seen the movies. But I can't speak Elvish.
Right. Yeah, me neither.
I'm not that hardcore, but I was actually kind of confused at the end of that trailer. I'm like, what are they doing?
Right.
So, I mean, I get with the title, they're going to do something with the Rings of Power. Okay. But is this like at the time of the forging of the Rings of Power, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not a Lord of the Rings show.
Exactly.
But I just gotta say, I was a little confused at the end of that trailer. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
That'll be something for me to like try and check out when we have another 6-month lull in Star Wars.
So I will say this. I am curious. So if anyone listening is a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan, though, please email me. I want to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I like the Lord of the Rings. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
So enlighten me. All right. Pedro Pascal. Pedro.
Well, there's a couple things with Pedro, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, I guess we'll lead one into the other here, but he was doing an interview with a German magazine called Neelix, and
was it remote or on set?
I don't know. Does it matter?
A little.
So the question of Mandalorian season 3 came up, and there's always we know you can't tell us anything, but tell us something, right? So, his quote is, okay, there will be some familiar faces and there will be a lot of new faces. in addition, there is again a lot of action and a really great story. So, saying a whole lot of nothing, right? But
So we said again, there's a really great story.
yeah. So
He got a lot of action part.
a lot of action, right? Yeah.
Really great story. I enjoy The Mandalorian. I really do.
Yeah.
But there has not been a great linear story yet. Like it just, there's been a lot of great little short stories,
Yes.
but a great story there hasn't been.
I got a feeling that we're going to get more of that overarching story that's been going on here. You know, with the covert and Mandalore and all of that coming into play. Personally, I think it's kind of obvious that that's going to happen.
I mean, I know we discussed that we're not going to go down this road too much, but I will say I feel like I've gotten more of the Mandalorian story in the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, clearly.
I mean, I know more about this character after the Book of Boba Fett than I did after 2 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Well, I think that's intentional. Like,
well, that's dumb.
Well, no. I don't think they wanted to take the time in season 3 of The Mandalorian to do the setup work.
Yeah, they should have done that in 2 seasons.
Yeah. I think they could have taken the time in season 2 for sure. Now, they've done it the way they've done it.
I know.
And
I
we
argue
are
against this whole launchpad thing. Like, this is not. I feel like Star Wars shouldn't be doing this Avengers Assemble crap. That's better left to Marvel.
Yeah, well,
there's people that like that kind of shit.
They're like, hey, we make a lot of money off Marvel. This will work.
Yeah. But I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this title, I see The Mandalorian. I wanna hear about the damn Mandalorian.
Right. Well, I think we'll go there, Yeah.
Well, that's good. About damn time.
So again, he didn't really say a whole lot. We'll see some new faces, see some old faces. I think it's gonna play into a lot of the speculation has been as far as season 3 goes. So, there's a Darksaber. There's lots of Mandalorians, different Mandalorians who want it. Yeah.
Different Mandalorians who want it.
Yeah, Bo-Katan, right? Mando's got it.
Yeah, after hearing what I heard, I don't know why she'd want it back.
I don't know. It's a good question.
But I guess they believe in this whole, curse thing.
Right.
Hate to break it to you, but you're probably just an ineffectual leader.
That's kind of the vibe I got from all that.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
That's the way it always shakes out, right? For these religious zealot groups, right? They have all these prophecies and curses and stuff like that, and it turns out just the person that was in charge did a crap job.
Exactly.
And all the prophecy and stuff like that, it is what you make it.
Right.
That's always the moral of the story.
Yes.
I just, not everyone who's fit to be a warrior is fit to be a leader. Bo-Katan might not be a leader. She's a great warrior.
Yeah, for sure.
She might not be fit to lead.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
I got a feeling we're going to explore a bunch of that, moving forward.
I hope so. I hope they do that in a Bo-Katan show.
Because
and we tell the story of the Mandalorian. Damn it.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Well, maybe we'll get some exposition on that or something. That who knows? She's got too much of her sister in her. Something, whatever. And
which I think is the main point, right? Her sister, great leader, not so much a warrior.
A different kind of leader though for Mandalore.
Well,
so
yeah, for Mandalore.
That's part of it.
For Mandalore, yes, different kind of leader for Mandalore, but a natural leader.
Yes.
Can say the right words, can get people to follow them.
Yes.
You know, make people feel good about what they're doing for the cause. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
Not a warrior.
Exactly, for sure.
Not at all.
To the point where she didn't want any warriors.
Right.
So to speak. But there was something else about Pedro Pascal that was interesting. I know I heard this. I don't have a source. Did you have a source for this?
About him not being on set at all?
Yeah.
No, I didn't save it.
Okay. I saw it too. I just didn't source it, but yeah, it is quote unquote confirmed, I guess, that Pedro Pascal was not on the set of the Book of Boba Fett. He just came in and did the voice work. So, you know, clearly, it worked out without him being there.
Well, I mean, it worked out a lot in season 2.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there were several times in season 2 he was not in the armor.
Right. Well, I mean, pretty much whenever there's action, he's not in the armor, right?
Right. And, you know, I have not noticed a, like, demeanor change, a character's body language change. These two got chemistry, right?
Right.
One can act like the other. So, does he necessarily need to ever be on set? Probably not.
Right.
Honestly,
yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it, too.
So,
yeah.
Okay. That's not the source I saw.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw it, but, you know, we both saw the story somewhere. So,
yeah.
So we'll report it.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be BS, right? Like, maybe he was on set.
No,
I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt that's BS. I think that's exactly how it played out.
You know when you need Pedro Pascal on set? When he removes his helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
If he doesn't remove his helmet, like I said, these two guys they got chemistry.
Yep.
You know, they have created a seamless character between in really a way that I don't think has ever been done, right? Like,
right.
To where you can have someone step in and film all the spots and look exactly like the person who did it in the first season. Because Pedro was in the suit a lot the first season, with the exception of his fight sequences.
Right.
You know, when they're walking around just recording dialogue and him being there, it was him.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, which, I mean, the bulk of his appearances in the Book of Boba Fett were action sequences. So it made the most sense for, like, oh, the little bit of time where he's just talking, let's just use this guy. Why bring Pedro in? He can record his lines, you know?
Yep. Hey, worked out. I bought it.
I don't think they could have well, yeah, not to call him a voice actor, but I guess he's kind of a voice actor now, right?
Hey, for Book of Boba Fett, he was. That's for sure.
But, I mean, they couldn't have found a more perfect voice.
True.
I mean, he sounds more Mandalorian than a lot of the Mandalorians we've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, they probably looked at that, you know, when you audition for the role, you know, they're probably thinking, okay, we're going to put the voice through this kind of processing, and how's it sound? Oh yeah, that's the one, you know. So, which
the other thing I got to say is, like, his voice performance in the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, it's really unique for his performances. Like, when you hear him talk normally, it doesn't sound like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. For sure.
When you see him in another role, he doesn't sound like the Mandalorian.
Right.
Like, this performance he's putting forth is very unique and very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, he's definitely the perfect voice for the character. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, where do we want to go next? Well, I guess this is kind of tied to it.
Okay.
Ahsoka.
Ah.
So there's a working title
Uh-huh.
and a scheduled start date for filming for the Ahsoka series.
Okay.
So the working title for Ahsoka is Stormcrow. We always like to talk about these code names, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, ever since Blue Harvest, right?
yeah, it's really just
So
kind of a thing now.
Stormcrow. Interesting. Seems a little, I don't know. Seems to me like a little bit of a, take two words, mash them together. There you go.
Sounds very Nordic to me. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
don't know why that's like the first thing that pops in my head is like Stormcrow, like Thor and Odin. Like,
Right. Oh, just so long as they don't give Ahsoka a hammer. God. Yeah. It's not cross Marvel. Hey, you mentioned it earlier, right? That's not cross Marvel with our Star Wars.
yeah. Oh, it's like, damn it, there's a third person that can lift the hammer.
Exactly, and it's a Jedi. Well, former Jedi.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the only reason I could see this being like let's call it Stormcrow. What was the owl that was like following Ahsoka around in the Clone Wars?
Oh man,
What's that thing called?
Oh, you're killing me here.
But okay,
Yeah,
I can't remember. But I could see them using this title just because that's a very Odin-like thing, right? Like,
right. Yeah, totally.
So it's like, yeah, you got this owl. You got the. It's killing me though to not remember what that thing's called.
Yeah, it's gonna come to me, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have known that. But
Convor.
That's it. Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole Convor thing, I could see that. Like, that's like Odin, right? And you got
Right.
this bird. Kind of see ahead.
Yep.
There's a connection there.
Yep.
So, but filming is scheduled to start in April. Reported.
Okay. Nice. Not too far down the road.
No. Now, with filming starting in April, I mean that gives us a time frame, right? So 2023 sometime.
Right.
It's definitely going to be a next year thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
At the earliest.
Yeah.
Because who knows what else they're going to throw in there and when they're going to release the stuff they've already filmed.
Right.
Because we still have no idea when Andor's coming.
We will. We're just not there yet.
Oh, we will. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. In this show, we will.
We're gonna have to fit a Mandalorian season 3 in there.
Right.
So who knows when we're gonna see Ahsoka? It could be end of 2023.
I got a feeling
2024.
it's gonna be about the same slot as Obi-Wan Kenobi is this year. But
Okay.
next year. That's my guess. I mean,
so May next year.
yeah, it's my guess for 23 schedule.
What do you think about the prospects of the end of this year? Do you think that's going to be?
I think that's going to be Mando, like probably late December, first episode of Mando season 3. That's my guess.
I will say that's a little disappointing.
Why is that?
Well, just Ahsoka's been a character that's been very involved.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see her again in the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
It's an exciting show.
I have a feeling that we might see her in the Mandalorian season 3.
Well, I mean, they're kind of going to have to do that, right? They can't let this character fade at all.
Exactly. That's an excellent point. I just feel like, she's got to be kept in the forefront of our memory banks for sure.
Right. Which
So-
I gotta say, like last week, we didn't really talk about this much. We didn't talk about Ahsoka that much. And Ahsoka's appearance.
Uh-huh.
But I think this is a good opportunity to kind of say, like, how are we feeling about Rosario Dawson's portrayal right now? You know, of this character that we really saw grow up.
Yeah.
You know, this is a character. This is probably, in all honesty, I think we've mentioned this before. This is probably the character we've got the most information on in all of Star Wars.
Right.
We know more about Ahsoka Tano than we do about any other character.
Yes.
So,
I will
Rosario's
say,
performance.
Yeah.
Go.
I will say it's working for me. Primarily keeping in mind the timeline. Right. This is a much older Ahsoka.
Well, we've already got to experience this though, right? We left the Clone Wars, we went into the Rebels era, we got to see an Ahsoka grown from where we left off.
Uh-huh.
So we've seen this once before.
Yeah.
You know, this transitional thing with Ahsoka. So how does this one sit?
Well, so far it's working for me. I mean, as far, beyond that, I'm not sure what you're, want me to say. It's
well, just because we're getting more material from Rosario in this character. You know, the Mandalorian, you know, it was a little bit of material, but it was less dialogue, more action.
Yeah.
This we got a really dialogue heavy Ahsoka.
Yes. And the things that she did it's almost given Mandalorian a Jedi lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I would imagine an older, wizened Jedi to be. You know what I'm saying? So it all works for me in that sense. You know, this is the stage in life she's at, and she's doing a great job with it. So,
right. Yeah, I agree. I'm digging the transition there. From
right.
the Clone Wars to live action, you know. And then my other question is, there was one moment where I was kind of like, ooh, why would Ahsoka say that? When he asked why she didn't train Grogu, she alluded to, well, that was his choice. Right? Did I hear that correctly?
I'm trying to recall it, but
like he didn't choose me. And I'm just kind of like, how do you train a Jedi? You're not a Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, we all know she could do it.
Oh yeah, she could do it. Yeah,
But,
there's that. You know, I guess the argument to be made there is just to train him how to use the Force, not like maybe he made the choice he wanted to be a Jedi, not whatever she is.
Right.
Which is a teamless Force user.
Right. It's interesting because, when ultimately given the choice, he chose
right, like teamless
the
Force
lightsaber.
user seems to be looking pretty damn good right now.
Yeah. I want that chainmail. Yeah.
Chainmail's a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but hey, it works for Grogu.
It works.
So, okay, while we're on Ahsoka.
Yep.
The art of Mandalorian season 2, is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Is out, and Filoni had something he's quoted in there with a little odd thing here. Says there were a lot of debates about Ahsoka Tano pointing the way to Luke Skywalker. And John and I went back and forth because if Ahsoka can't take Grogu, then who will? Really, when you think about it, in this timeline, you don't have many choices, do you?
No, I mean, this is it, right?
Kind of, yeah. Which ultimately doesn't happen either, and I think there's reasons for that, but it goes on.
Yeah, get the moneymaker back in the show. That's what.
Heck yeah. Taking care of the child is not her destiny. That's not what I've been planning for her to do, so I can't change it up. It seems to me like Dave introduces Jon Favreau to this character, Ahsoka, and John's like, oh, yeah, we could use her like this and like that. And, Dave Filoni's like, no. I got a plan. So,
and John's like, who are you, George Lucas?
Right, exactly. It's like, you might have to get reminded every now and then. It's like, yeah, this character is partially mine. It's mine and George's. So just kind of funny, like, yeah, even with these two guys who both get Star Wars, how their ideas, it sounds like, can diverge from each other and they have to get hashed out.
It's funny the way you're describing it. It sounds like it could have been the most passive aggressive Star Wars argument in history.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's things like that. I mean, it's. I'm sure there's a lot of that going on at Lucasfilm with all the directors and writers and stuff that are no longer with Lucasfilm. Their projects are no longer happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, Favreau Filoni are the longest running, right?
Exactly. These guys must like working with each other, even though they can have some disagreements and stuff like that, because...
Wow, that sounds like Star Wars discussion. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. But, yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting to hear that, for as much as everyone loves the work that these two guys have been putting out, which, as of late has been the best Star Wars that we've seen.
Well, in the Disney era.
Yeah, in the Disney era, I would have to say. They still have their, as they put it, back and forth about what's going to happen with these characters, and just seems funny. I like it,
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, like I said, I agree. It's funny that this character is the character that they're like, whoa. We got to talk this out a little bit.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that's probably got to do with the fact that Dave already knows where Ahsoka's going to end up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has a vision for it, right?
He's like, I've been setting this character up for what? 15 years now?
Yeah.
It's like 14, whatever. Yeah, I know where this path goes, where it ends.
And let's be honest, this character has reached a point where this is a beloved character.
Oh, yeah.
You have to tread carefully.
Yes.
Because, this is a character that Star Wars fans, old and new and in between, have rallied around.
Oh, totally.
And when I say that, I'm talking about the Star Wars characters that watch the animation. So we're not talking about the like mainstream layman's, right? Like the casual Star Wars fan.
Right.
But the dedicated Star Wars fan and kids growing up with the Clone Wars, things like that. This is a beloved character.
Totally.
And I know some Star Wars fans that are like the most OT dedicated Star Wars fans out there, right? Anything outside the OT, they're prequel haters.
Okay.
OT fans.
Yeah.
They love Ahsoka. When they finally got around to watching the Clone Wars, they're like, wow.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
character Ahsoka, there's something with this character. So this is a beloved character.
Yeah.
So, treading carefully and making sure that you stay with character. I think if you have Ahsoka start training a Jedi apprentice, that's going to be a little weird.
Yeah, it totally would be. The one who walked away from the order, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that was offered, pretty much like, you could be a Jedi Knight. Like, piss off.
Right.
Like, that's a total, like, badass move right there. Like, you're offered a promotion and you're like, nah, deuces.
Yeah. Well, hey, it seemed to work out for her, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, I guess we might as well talk a little Obi-Wan while we're at it.
Okay.
Where do we want to start with Obi-Wan? There's a couple little nuggets here.
Okay.
All right, let's go big right away.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Smits.
Okay. Yeah.
So I believe this is coming from Making Star Wars, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
So Making Star Wars is reporting that Jimmy Smits is going to be returning to his character of Bail Organa in Kenobi.
Which, kind of not surprised, I mean...
Really? I am.
Are you?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of Leia's message.
Oh, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars?
Yeah. She sent that message like, hey, it's been a minute. You haven't heard from our family in a while.
Right.
Like, it just... I understand. Like, we've dissected stuff like this before, right?
Oh,
like,
and we won't stop.
Huh?
And we won't stop.
Right. Yep. Won't stop till we get enough. And we won't. So... But yeah, I mean, it's like the whole Vader Obi-Wan, like you shouldn't have come back, right?
Right.
We've dissected this before. But that Leia one, it did really seem like, hey, you fought for my father in the Clone Wars. That seemed like the last time.
Yes.
It seemed like, hey, we still have this connection. This seemed like a reaching out to an old family friend, like.
So I think there's two.
Like, I know I haven't called, but I'm in some shit now and I need your help.
Yeah. But I think there's two ways this could be playing out. One is I think Bail Organa could be in a flashback. Which would make sense, right?
That would make sense.
Two, I think, last contact with Obi-Wan and Bail Organa that Leia's aware of would have been the Clone Wars. Because at the time frame of which Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to take place, she's like 10 years old,
Well, I understand. But at the same time, it's like, all right, we're going to take these two kids. We're going to separate them, because that's for the best. If we separate them, that it'd be better to hide them.
Right.
I mean, we're still going to talk. We're still going to communicate. We're still going to keep a friendship, keep that connection open. Like, why would you do that?
Well, you never know when you might need to call on a Jedi.
Like, here you have the Empire intercepting transmissions like their thing, dude. Like,
well, yeah, but there's what happens. Rogue One. I'll contact my Jedi friend. When they find out, oh, there's a weapon that can kill planets. Yeah, I'll get a hold of the Jedi now. Yeah.
Did he ever get a hold of him, though?
I think we saw how all that played out.
Because, I mean, he was going back to Alderaan.
I mean, it's called A New Hope. Yeah.
I felt like he said he was going to do that. Then he got blowed up. And Leia did that.
Yes. Well, that's for sure.
But, you know, now that I think about it, Bail Organa aged really well.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Because, yeah, in Rogue One, he's like older than he's going to be playing in this one, right? So.
Right. Hey, good for him.
Nice. So, on Obi-Wan, I'm going to expand out of here a little more.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, hold on. You're going to love this one. This is where we're at now, right? So, Ewan McGregor, he was speaking with Forbes.com while promoting his new Expedia Super Bowl ad. So we got to do promotion for the commercial. Okay. Anyway, there's a couple things he had to say, but because again, anytime you have a Star Wars actor, you got to ask about Star Wars. The interesting part that I thought was when asked about the filming process of the new series, he says, "It was a great experience. Deborah Trout directed all the episodes, and she's really good. She directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian, and she's a really great director. She really knows the Star Wars world, inside out, far more than I do. We just had a great time. I think it's no secret that Hayden Christensen comes back, and we got to play scenes together again as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. And it was just fantastic to work with him again. I'm not going to give away anything else about the storyline, only I think it's really going to satisfy Star Wars fans. I always felt there was a story between episode 3 where I finished playing Obi-Wan in the movies, and episode 4 where Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan. So he got to work with him as Obi-Wan and Anakin. So I think this is a clear indication that we are going to see flashbacks. I don't think there's much doubt in that, but I'm going to take that as kind of a confirmation.
Yeah. That's pretty confirming.
Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense. But then that leaves us where, I would say the option of Bail Organa, he could be part of the flashbacks, or, in present time too. So, or both.
I don't really see a reason to have a Bail Organa flashback.
Well,
I mean, if these characters were like interacting all the time,
you saw the Clone Wars,
a
right?
More of that.
You saw the Clone Wars, right? I mean, there was some Bail Organa in there.
Yeah, but were they? Yeah, still, it wasn't like a daily occurrence.
No, but
at least I didn't get that impression. Maybe it was.
So what I wonder, and there's been no indication of this, but what about Padme? Wouldn't it be interesting to see in live action Obi-Wan kind of noticing, hey, there's stuff going on there, in these flashbacks. We saw it in the Bad Batch, and or no, that was the Clone Wars, right? Season 7, the introduction of the Bad Batch.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I don't know. There's all kinds of different stuff that, because I think it's almost understood that we're going to see Obi-Wan, who's really struggling with what happened to Anakin and maybe blaming himself for it. And, if he'd maybe nip that in the bud or, whatever.
Right.
Maybe he could have stopped all this from happening. Who knows? Maybe, it's good. It remains to be seen.
I don't want to see Obi-Wan wallowing in self-pity, though.
Nor do I. But I'm sure we're going to see him struggling with what he could have done differently to keep Anakin from turning.
You think so? Because I never got the impression that he was blaming himself.
I don't know. I mean, the whole, let me face the Emperor,
Well, yeah. I understand that. And, he even told Anakin, I failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
Right.
But I never felt like he dwelled on that.
At that point, all that we've gotten to see from Obi-Wan in this regard is, right when it's all going down. So he hasn't had the time for it to sink in yet.
Right.
We might see a little something, I agree with you. I don't want to see him throwing himself a pity party about it, right? That's no good. That's not what we're going to want to see. But thinking about it, struggling with,
man, if I'd only bought him a beer.
Exactly.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
If I'd only bought him a beer. Where are you going, Master? For a drink? Without you.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got.
Yes.
Where are you going, Master? For a drink? You're not old enough.
But yeah.
Yeah. For a drink, you're on duty.
Exactly. But
so yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're going to see a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because he's in exile.
Yeah, I think in flashbacks is probably going to be where we get most of our action sequences in this show because, like you said, he's in exile. We can't have a whole lot of that going on in present time. I think we'll have some, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, and I think you can get away with some.
Right.
If he does it a ton, it's like, how the hell did he stay hidden?
Exactly. Yes.
Man, the Empire sucked at their job.
When you really think about it.
Well, yeah, they did. But
yeah, they did. And it's not surprising that a large bureaucratic government is going to suck at its job. So,
What?
Just saying,
Yeah, it's kind of the way it goes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, it just makes sense. He's going to spend a lot of time in reflection, looking at how, just thinking about how things went down.
Right.
So it would make a lot of sense to have flashbacks. And I guess, yeah, it makes sense that Bail Organa would show up in a flashback.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they definitely had a rapport, right?
They did, yeah. Because
it's not like he pulled up like, "Hey, I'm Bail Organa. I know you don't know me, but you should hop in."
Right. It's Bail Organa was one of Padme's closest political allies, so they are close in that way, through that that system. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. We'll see. All right. What else do we got here?
I think we should touch on Andor.
Andor.
Yes, because you mentioned some things we didn't know about that show earlier, but there are some things, and they might have been out for a little bit, but we've been kind of focused on Book of Boba Fett for, the past several weeks. And, whether some of these things have been out and we haven't covered them yet, we're going to cover them here. But Andor has a composer. I think, I was wondering anyway, was Ludwig Göransson going to be doing all of it? And clearly with, I forget who it is, but someone else doing a lot of the stuff on Boba Fett. Ludwig had some to do with it, but not all. But for Andor, they signed Nicholas Britell as the main composer for Andor.
Okay.
So, because Andor is currently in post-production, and yeah, it's time for some music. So, he is most known for the score of Succession, which I
am
hear.
not familiar.
Yeah, nor am I. I haven't watched it. I've heard of it. I've heard it's a good show. Just haven't had the time. So, also composed music for Oscar-winning films like Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk.
Still not familiar.
Still, exactly. So, this one I have seen, but didn't take note of the music. Netflix's Don't Look Up did that one too. So,
not either.
Right. So, it's clearly somebody who's like really making waves right now.
I know one thing. I got to start watching stuff.
Exactly. So what was interesting in this little write-up about this was just a couple of stuff that I know we haven't touched on this show yet. So I'm just going to quote a couple pieces here. The show is currently in post-production and is targeting a July-September release of its 12 episodes on Disney+.
12 episodes?
Yes.
Wow.
So we're looking at July, September, and 12 episodes, which...
So I got a question.
What's that?
Sorry to straight up go to this. They're doing 12 episodes and they didn't fit K2SO in there?
Right. Well...
season 2.
That leads us right into the other note here, right? Andor will go back into production this fall for season 2. So, yeah. So about when season 1 is airing, they will be in production for season 2. So, I feel like
that's curious for a couple reasons.
Okay.
1, 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Apparently they have a lot to say on the matter.
I'm with you. Yes, they do. It's kind of funny, isn't it?
I mean, in all honesty, if I thought there was going to be a more limited series, I thought it would be this one.
Well, we know where it ends, right? That's the thing. I mean, they must
kind of wondering what kind of cameos they got lined up, because that's their thing, right? Like, that's...
I'm thinking that this might be the sort of thing that,
actually tells the story of the title character.
Right. But I think they feel like they could actually...
Sorry, I'm just being a dick right now for no reason.
I know, and I'm just moving forward. But I feel like they're thinking they could, this is going to be this spy thriller type thing. You know what I mean? And they kind of know where they want to go with it, so, and they feel like they have enough story to tell.
Well, He did kind of lead on that. He's really seen some stuff. Like,
exactly.
so I guess that makes sense.
But yeah.
But I kind of got the impression he had really seen some stuff over a long period of time.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in this fight since I was 12. Like,
6 years old.
Did you say 6?
Pretty sure.
I thought you said 12.
No.
But, I mean, 6, damn.
Yeah, that could be when, you know, the first bad thing happened because of the Empire, you know.
Yeah, but he started fighting.
Well,
Hey, you said he's been in a fight.
well, okay. Since he was young. How's that?
Killed his first Imperial scum
Right.
at 6. Damn.
But
no wonder he's so checked up.
it is interesting because this is going to be like the most episodes we've gotten from any Star Wars Disney Plus show for a single season. I mean, other than
still half of the normal, like, well, I shouldn't even say that anymore.
Not anymore. That's just the way things go now. Yeah.
It is just the way it goes. I mean, every show that comes out is, 8, 10 episodes.
Right.
Now, we're dealing with a lot more hour shows.
Yes.
Than we used to.
It's true.
We were dealing with 24 episodes, something like that before for a lot of shows, but they were 30 minutes.
Yep.
Well, 22 when you cut out commercials. So, I guess it kind of balances, right?
Yeah.
If you're, especially if you're doing a 12 episode show, I mean, if you're doing hour episodes, it's 22 episodes.
Right. But, the beauty part is they can, be in the streaming service, the episode times can vary so that they can tell the story the way they want to tell it and not have to fall into that 22-minute time frame and allow for commercial breaks and all that.
Which has been I would say my biggest compliment for how they've handled the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian is the varying show lengths.
Yep.
In an episode where you don't need to drag it out, they don't.
Right.
They just, hey, it's 30 minutes.
Yep.
Sorry.
Or 38 minutes, and then the next one's 52. It's
right.
Yeah.
They get out what they need to tell, and that's that.
Exactly.
They're not beholden to telling a story in a certain amount of time. Which, I guess the Clone Wars is a good example. Just because you'd see 3 episode arcs, 4 episode arcs, because they wanted to tell this whole story.
Right.
But they were limited to 22 minutes.
Yep.
So you can't tell what you want to tell in 22 minutes. I mean, could you imagine if the Clone Wars was able to just do, I mean, some of them would have been 2 hours.
Exactly.
But I mean, could you imagine that? Like, one episode's 2 hours, next episode's 28 minutes. Like,
right. Yeah, that could be a little, I don't know, shocking when you're expecting one thing and getting another that way. But yeah.
But I mean, you don't end up with 22 minutes of Sunny Day in the Void, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, we gotta do 22 minutes of droids roaming in the desert.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that. That's for sure.
Like, that arc ended up being all right, but that first episode, man, that was rough.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, I like the format. That they can kind of play with the length.
Right.
And leave you in a good spot to wait a week.
Yep. Absolutely. It'll be interesting too, because like Boba Fett, there was clearly we were watching, we had the flashbacks, yes, and we had the Mandalorian episodes, but for Boba Fett, we had a clear arc of a story going on.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, Mandalorian was the same, but not, it wasn't like from moment to moment. It'll be interesting to see how Andor plays out, if it's done in a linear fashion like that, or if it's going to skip around in his, all the years he's been fighting thing.
Right. So speaking of show length and things like that, and telling the story you want to tell, there was one major cliffhanger this season for the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And that was the Luke and Grogu cliffhanger, right?
Right, yeah.
Did you like the payoff there? Like, was that worth a cliffhanger?
I almost feel like,
or did that just seem like filler to you? Like,
well, I wouldn't call it filler, but it almost felt like it paid off too soon to me. I don't know. Like,
I would agree with that. Like, if you were to let that simmer,
right?
Like, if that would have been episode 4,
well,
and then that showed up in episode 7,
even
like,
here's the way I'm looking at it is like, we left the episode where Luke gave Grogu the choice, and the very beginning of the very next episode, Luke's X-Wing is coming into Pelly's place,
right?
And if that would have happened, even if your cold open was something different, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, because our brains were left on that question for Grogu, and it came back and it's like, oh, here's the answer. It's like right away. So I feel like that could have simmered even in the next episode a little bit longer, but
it didn't even allow us any time to think about it, right? Like, what choice would he make?
Right.
We all assumed, oh, he's picking the armor. He's going back to the Mandalorian. We all thought that.
Yeah.
Initially, like the second he made, like, here, you got a choice. We're like, oh, we know where he's going.
Oh yeah.
Like, he just did the hand reaching out thing, right? Like,
absolutely.
it was a no-brainer. So I thought that was a cliffhanger that was like completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
There was just no payoff there. That's normally cliffhangers are a big deal, and that one was like,
yeah, agreed.
Oh, that's good. Normally, I complain about something, and you're like, you hate Star Wars.
Well, just call it like I see it, man.
I feel like I have some legitimate gripes sometimes.
Well, sometimes, yeah.
Wow. You were quick on that one. Like, only sometimes.
Only sometimes, exactly.
Most of the times you're just a hater.
Right.
Damn.
Hey, I'm agreeing with you. That's
That's one way to look at it.
yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, I will say, overall, like, tonight we talked a lot about all the Disney Plus offerings, right? Like,
yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm excited for what's coming.
Oh, totally. Me
because
too.
What we've got has been, all in all, really good.
Yes.
I got my complaints.
Yeah, you're not alone either. To be fair, you're not alone. There's, you
know what? I've seen some of these other complaints. If you think I hate Star Wars, you need to go check out some comments.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I know. I've seen them.
And I read those ones, I'm like, yeah, y'all are fools.
Yes.
Because you shouldn't be complaining about that. Like, their execution has been fairly good.
Yes.
Or I shouldn't say that. I think execution is where I'm kind of like, The overall story they're trying to tell has been pretty good.
Yes.
The execution, I think, has been a little lacking.
Okay.
Just on where they... That's where my hang-up is. It's just where they place certain things. Because I feel like the stuff we got with The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett would have been better suited to The Mandalorian.
Right.
And, in all honesty, where Boba Fett shows up, not really where he shows up, but where he got involved with The Mandalorian might have been a little better suited to the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I understand you got to set up, right? They're playing a chess game here.
Yep. See, that's what I'm looking at too. Is you have crossover back and forth, and for me, it worked out the way they did it. I didn't have a hang up with that at all.
Well, even for me, in the end, it works out.
Sure.
Just I have a little bit of a hard time when I sit down to watch a show and it is titled to follow this character.
Right.
And it doesn't follow that character for half the season. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I Book of Boba Fett eased up a little bit. It was only 2 episodes out of 7.
Yeah.
That's saying something, though. I mean, when you have 7 episodes and 2 episodes have nothing to do with the character that you're talking about,
well, one thing I will say is it got me excited for Mandalorian season 3.
It did.
And I feel like we're in a good place now to start that. You know what I mean?
I only have one hang up on that.
Okay.
And that is Grogu returning to the Mandalorian already.
Uh-huh.
I have no problem with him wanting to return to the Mandalorian, but as it being like the middle act, I'm like, really? Like, you got season 2, then the Book of Boba Fett, and in the Book of Boba Fett, you're like, no, he needs to go back to the Mandalorian. It's like, are we telling the Mandalorian story or are we telling Grogu's story? Because I really feel like we're telling Grogu's story.
Well, maybe we had to get Grogu's story out of the way so we could tell Mando's story in season 3.
Yeah, but they didn't do that because they're bringing him back right away.
Yeah, but he's going to be there, but he's part of Mando's... What's going on with Mando?
I understand what you're saying. And it could work.
Yeah.
But I feel like the prospect of him having a little bit of time on his own in the show that has his title, right?
Right.
Would have been good for the show. I feel like it would have been good for the show to separate from Grogu for a minute. Otherwise, I feel like you're telling Grogu's story. You're not telling the Mandalorian story.
Well,
I understand they're trying to make it that they're one and the same.
Right.
But leaving out why the Mandalorian is kind of veering this way. We got this impression on how this character was going to be early on in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
And that instantly changed.
Yes.
But we don't have any explanation as to why this might change. What makes him tick? Why would this affect him that way? Is it because he was a foundling and he was...
That's got a lot to do with it, yeah.
I know.
That was pretty clear.
Is it, though?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it is.
Well,
And the reason I say that is because I think a little bit of a look into his up-and-coming time as part of that covert, right?
Yeah.
Being found by the Death Watch. This might help explain why he feels the way he does. Because he goes from this, get the job done, this is why I'm here, to, maybe the job's not so important. I just would like to see a little bit more of what makes him tick, and why he would think that humanity is more important than the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was a pretty rapid change in that first episode.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you want to call the end with the finger, the rapid change.
It was. Because, you could see an immediate connection there.
Yeah.
He didn't just snatch him up. It was like, oh, that's the job.
Right.
No, there was this connection. Like, it's a child.
Well,
there's humanity there.
Yeah. Also took out IG-11.
Right. It wasn't just a job right there anymore.
Right.
So I'd still like to know why he feels that way. Because they made it seem like that didn't matter to him for, what was that first episode? 40 some minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
So for 39 minutes, he didn't give a shit about people's pleas. It was about the job.
Right.
He had a job to do. He's a bounty hunter.
Yep.
And then just bam, this kid just made an impression on me. All of a sudden, I'm turning over a new leaf. I don't buy that. There's a reason for that.
Well, maybe
and that's what I'd like
more
to,
of that. Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's what I'd like to see explored.
Okay.
And I think it needs to be explored sans Grogu. You need to see before Grogu.
Well, that's a definite possibility because we've been seeing a lot of that kind of stuff, flashing back and stuff. And, we could, maybe we get to see some of Din's early days in the covert,
we may come to find out, just like Ahsoka, right? Like maybe Din has a better idea of what their mission is than the group.
Maybe.
Just like with Ahsoka. She had a better idea of what it means to be a Jedi than a Jedi.
Right.
So, yeah. That's my complaint.
Okay.
All right. Well, anything else to add there?
No. I'm good.
All right. Well, if y'all have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewordsofmore.com. It's really the best way to get a hold of us. But we're also on social media. We're at The Words of More on Twitter, Facebook.com/TheWordsOfMore, and at The Words of More on Instagram. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at TheWordsofMore.com. I already kind of asked it, but any final thoughts?
No, I think we've about covered it. Yeah.
All right. We will talk next week.